Y News with William Theo, Angelo Castro III, and Darlene Basingan.
Good evening. Towns in the southern part of Mount Mayon are in danger of experiencing a lahar flow. Victor Cosare will tell us why.
The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, or PHIVOLCS, and the local government of Albay are looking into the possibility of a lahar flow in case heavy rains hit the province. Towns likely to be hit are those in the southern part of Mount Mayon, to include Ligao, Camalig, and Ginubatan. PHIVOLCS senior science specialist and resident volcanologist Ed Laguerta explains volcanic materials coming out from the crater of the volcano in the past few days may flow down. Laguerta says it will add up to the lahar left at the foot of the volcano, which came out during its previous eruptions. He explains rainwater will mix into its deposits, which will then result into lahar that will flow into rivers.
Mas malaki na ngayon ang chance if rainy season would come ng lahar. So pag pinag-usapan kasi yung lahar, wala na po itong tinitingnang distance. Ang lahar po kahit malayo, basta marami ang materials saka low-lying areas yung area nyo, pwede kayong tamaan.
The volcanologist notes the occurrence of a lahar flow is not part of the parameters in placing Mount Mayon under Alert Level 5. Currently, Mayon volcano spews almost 6.2 million cubic meters of lava and rocks. PHIVOLCS also recorded 5 phreatomagmatic eruptions or lava fountaining within 24 hours. It also spewed ash plumes reaching 3 to 5 kilometers into the sky, which affects areas including Iriga City in Camarines Sur. The agency is now studying the 4 up to 5 hour gap of phreatomagmatic volcanic eruptions, or a type of volcanic eruption with lava and water. The Mayon volcano will remain under Alert Level 4. Authorities still strictly prohibit the entry to the 6-kilometer permanent danger zone and 8-kilometer extended danger zone around Mount Mayon. Meanwhile, Cedric Daep, the head of the APSEMO, said that the order to evacuate the residents within the 9-kilometer extended danger zone is just a preemptive measure. Victor Cosare, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Meanwhile, the Department of Health advises residents to secure protection against respiratory diseases and other illnesses amid the eruption of Mount Mayon. Here's why from Aiko Miguel.
The Department of Health, or DOH, expresses concern over the health conditions of residents in Albay towns affected by the volcanic ash spewed from Mount Mayon. Experts say chemical contents in volcanic ash are extremely harmful to human health. Residents can develop respiratory problems such as asthma and bronchitis.
At kung may problema ka sa hika, halimbawa, o may existing problem ka na, pwedeng lumala itong kondisyon na ito. Kahit healthy ka, pwede rin mag-trigger ng problema.
The possibility of developing skin diseases and eye infections is also high, especially with continuous exposure to volcanic ash in the air.
Maaring siya ay magkaroon ng tinatawag na irritant contact dermatitis, namumula ang balat, maaring magkaroon ng butlig o butlig na may tubig, depende kung ganong kalala.
For this reason, experts advise residents to stay indoor to avoid exposure to harmful gases. It is also favorable to wear face masks or cover your nose and mouth with wet towel to avoid inhalation of volcanic ash. Experts also recommend the wearing of goggles to protect the eyes. Residents are also reminded to cover any stored food or drinking water to avoid contamination. It is also better to seal any holes in the house to prevent the ash from coming in. Meanwhile, the DOH Central Office has already sent over 12 million pesos in assistance to Bicol region. 5 million pesos is the Quick Release Fund allotted for the monitoring and coordination with DOST PHIVOLCS and for immediate response. Over 7 million pesos will be spent for supplies such as water containers, hygiene kits, medicines, and mosquito nets. As of today, a total of 326 health workers, nurses, and midwives have been sent to Albay to help in evacuation centers. The DOH is currently on Code Blue Alert in response to the Oplan Mayon operations. Also, the DOH has ordered hospitals to designate special lanes to immediately attend to patients with severe conditions due to the eruption of Mount Mayon.
Tuloy-tuloy yan. Making sure that we have enough manpower enough supply of medicine that will be needed as part of our response, enough assistance na pwedeng ibigay sa mga taong maapektuhan nitong problema ito.
Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
Villagers who returned to their homes following Mount Mayon's gentle eruption last week were transported back to temporary shelters. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
From the crater, debris billowed several kilometers down to the danger zone and volcanic ash fell on many nearby towns. The villagers who had returned to their homes after Mayon's relatively gentle eruption last week were transported by trucks back to emergency shelters. The military also increased its presence on the road leading to the volcano. As ash continued to rise from the crater on Monday afternoon, soldiers tried to persuade villagers not to go back to their homes inside the danger zone. Colonel Oliveros, commander of Task Group Mayon of the Philippines Army's 9th Infantry Division, said they had difficulty preventing some villagers from venturing into the danger zone.
The task of the Task Group Mayon is to assess the local government units in conducting pre-evacuation, and at the same time we are surveying or observing the area to ensure that the people from the permanent danger zone will no longer go back to the area. We cannot avoid that from happening because most of the people have their livelihoods, have their livestock in the area, so they go back, and then in the evening they also go back to the evacuation area.
Some returning villagers said they had to go back to check their livestock, while others went home to pick vegetables to sell.
2 kilometro sila galing dito sa umpisa dito sa may tinitindigan ko. Alam ko naman silang patakaran namin. Dahil sa hirap ng buhay, kahit mahirap kami, kahit delikado, inakyat namin yan.
The Level 4 alert suggests a hazardous eruption is imminent. Therefore, nearby residents were evacuated and the danger zone was further expanded. Mount Mayon is the Philippines' most active volcano and has reportedly erupted multiple times over the past decade. Authorities warned residents to follow advice of evacuations for their own safety. Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Despite continuous reminders from authorities, several residents near the erupting Mount Mayon still refuse to leave. Instead, they begin storing food and drinking water. Here's why from Joannano Live. Yes, Joanne, go ahead.
Yes, good evening, Jago. We're still live here in Legazpi City, Albay. As of now, as you can see behind me, the volcano is continuously spewing ash and lava. Around 6 in the morning today, Jago, Mount Mayon also has spewed about 5-kilometer high ash column and lava fountain. Thick ash was again spewed by the volcano at around 2 in the afternoon. The 8th silent eruption of the volcano was recorded today at around 6 in the evening. According to Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, or PHIVOLCS, this shows 4-kilometer ash column, lava fountain, and strombolic time of eruption. Some residents living near the Mount Mayon refuse to leave their homes. The residents argue they are used to such situations every time the active volcano shows signs of abnormalities. Part of their preparations is to store more food, especially since it is difficult for them to travel to other towns. One of them is Antonio Palacio, who has already stored food for the following days while Mount Mayon continues to erupt. However, he worries that his food supply will soon run out in the following weeks.
Nag-aalala rin kami. Mahirap din ang matagal kang maka-recover ng mga rito, yung mga pagkain. Katulad ng ng nyog. Pag lumakas yung asphalt na yan, ang mga nyog yan, babagsak yan, naluluto yan.
In case they run out of food, Antonio says he will have no other choice but to pick and clean his planted vegetables.
Katulad ng langka, papaya. Yun lang ang madalas namin makuha rito dahil yung mga dahon-dahon hindi na bibili dahil puro na yun, pabo na. Kaya puro na lang yung binabalatan sa bayugas.
Residents in some affected areas are confident that their supply of water will not be affected. Barangay Masarawag is one of the areas part of the 7-kilometer extended danger zone. The ashfall from the volcano has already eased a bit. That's why residents are already returning to their homes. Residents get their water supply from this well. They say although there is ashfall, the water from this well remains clean and safe to drink.
Ganda naman, pinapakuluan na lang yan.
Meanwhile, evacuees are cramming into temporary shelters, like the Barrio National High School in Camalig, where there are almost 100 individuals per classroom. There is also a lack of clean toilet. This prompted the evacuees to call on authorities to provide them with portalets. Joanano, UNTV News and Rescue, Legazpi, Albay.
Jaga, based on the latest data of Albay Provincial Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office, as of 5 o'clock this afternoon, there were around 18,904 families, or equivalent to 72,091 individuals who temporarily stays in different evacuation centers. And that is the latest live here in Legazpi, Albay. Back to you, Jago.
Thank you, Joanano, reporting live from Albay. The Department of Trade and Industry sees no movement in the prices of major commodities amid the implementation of the tax reform for acceleration and inclusion, or trade law. Here's why from Rajel Adora.
The Department of Trade and Industry, or DTI, conducted another inspection of some supermarkets and grocery stores in Pasay City today. The DTI says it sees no violation in the existing suggested retail price, or SRP, of major commodities. According to DTI Undersecretary Attorney Ruth Castello, the agency monitors no movement in the prices of basic goods despite the existing implementation of the Tax Reform Acceleration and Inclusion, or TRAIN law. However, DTI still advises the public to still expect a sudden increase in prices of products.
We're already on the third week. Pareho pa din ang presyo. So, kung bago man yung mga inventories na binibenta dito sa mga supermarket, ibig sabihin hindi talaga or bahagyang-bahagya, if ever, na ang pagtaas. But in fact, dito ngayon, mas mababa pa.
The DTI says it is set to release another SRP in case there would be a movement in the prices of products. Consumers, meanwhile, prefer to purchase at groceries or supermarkets, as prices of products there are cheaper and the surrounding is more comfortable.
Komportable dito, tapos mas mura ba ang bilihin. Convenient, siyempre.
At least dito, sigurado ka kasi medyo mababa yung presyo nila.
DTI is now planning to post SRPs at sari-sari stores across the country. Rajal Adora, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasay City.
Vehicle plates affected by the temporary restraining order can now be acquired this coming February. Here's why from Monokson.
Car owners whose license plates are suspended for release may soon receive said licenses starting this February. This after the Supreme Court has lifted the temporary restraining order on the said car plates. The Land Transportation Office, however, clarifies that there are only 300,000 license plates left in their office for release.
Ito pong plaka na po ito yung matagal na po ito na hinintay natin. Kaya po wag po nating mag-isip sana na lahat ito pamimigay sa mga walang plaka. Kukunti lang po ito at mayroon na pong naka-assign dito. Kaya po wag po tayong pumunta na lang sa LTO, magde-demand sa LTO kung hindi po tayo tinatawagan ng LTO.
The more than 400,000 plates have already been distributed even before the Supreme Court issued the TRO. LTO says car owners just have to wait for their call or text message before going to their office. Owners must bring a copy of their official receipt and certificate of registration and a valid ID. The LTO adds that the 700,000 plates are just part of the many pending plates that need to be printed. As of now, the notice of disallowance issued by the Commission on Audit is now yet lifted. This is the reason why until now the LTO cannot issue new plates. However, the lifting of the TRO for the 700,000 plates have helped in easing the problem.
Yung kontratang yan should have covered yung 2013 hanggang 2018 na plate requirements. Kaya ito, kumbaga, makakatulong ito para we can move forward.
ASEC Edgar Galvante is positive that the notice of disallowance will be lifted soon and they can start printing new plates. LTO will be the one to print the plates through the machine supplied by the contractor.
Kung maliliit na yung notice of disallowance, siguro mas bibilis yung pag-process ng pagbamanufacture ng plates doon sa naunang kontrata.
Danny has been waiting for his car plate for almost 2 years. He is thankful that he can finally get it.
Mas maganda po yung magkaroon po talaga ng plaka kasi at least makikita mo yung sakyan, talagang legal na yung ano niya.
If all hindrances is cleared, including the notice of disallowance, the LTO is confident that they can issue a license plate as soon as a new car unit is released to the buyer. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Meanwhile, the heads of the ASEAN member states have started to arrive in India tonight. Ray Pelayo is in New Delhi, India, to tell us why live. Yes, Ray, go ahead.
Yes, good evening, Darlene. The ASEAN-India commemorative summit is set to begin tomorrow, where President Rodrigo Duterte and other Association of Southeast Asian Nation or ASEAN heads of state are expected to attend. President Duterte is expected to hold a bilateral meeting with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the sidelines of the summit. This is the 25th anniversary of the ties of ASEAN and India, though the Philippines' diplomatic ties with the second most populous nation in the world is already at its 70th year. For the first time ever, India will have as visitors all ASEAN member states during the celebration of their Republic Day on Friday, January 26. The first batch to arrive today are the leaders of Vietnam, Cambodia, and other countries in Southeast Asia. According to Philippine Ambassador to the Republic of India, Teresita Dasa, India is among the countries with biggest investment in the information technology industry of the Philippines.
India and the Philippines are actually doing very well when it comes to the IT sector and industry. 9 out of 10 of India's biggest IT companies are actually established in the Philippines for the BPOs.
The two countries also seek to intensify cooperation in the industry of tourism. According to Ambassador Dasa, there are about 70,000 Indian tourists that visited the country in 2016 and is expected to climb to 100,000 in 2017. It is expected that the Philippines and India might exchange more tourists should the countries would have direct flights. Ambassador Dasa says India could help in the Build program of the Duterte administration, especially since an Indian company has an existing contract with the Philippines. Darlene, Philippine officials have yet to set a date for the schedule of President Duterte's meeting with the Filipino community here in New Delhi. Darlene?
Thank you, Ray Pelayo, reporting live from New Delhi, India. President Rodrigo Duterte will open up the issue of fighting terrorism during the ASEAN-India commemorative summit. Meanwhile, the president gives the Kuwaiti government an ultimatum on the cases of abuses against overseas Filipino workers. Here's why from Rosalie Cos.
The Philippine delegates, led by President Rodrigo Duterte, left for New Delhi, India this afternoon to attend the ASEAN-India commemorative summit scheduled tomorrow. The president sees the summit as a good venue that will open many opportunities for the Philippines' economic growth. He also sees this as a platform to discuss the issue on fighting terrorism.
We're okay sa ASEAN, but it's all trade and commerce and everything else under the sun, except that we do not have the platform for terrorism and other problems of law and order. Kaya ako pupunta, sabihin ko, kung ganito na lang naman, so what's the use of meeting just once a year? And probably the ministerial level once every 3 months.
The chief executive adds that he will also take harsh measures against terrorists who will try to sow violence in the country. And if the threats get worse, especially in Sulu and Celebes Sea, he will ask China to help the Philippines to resolve it.
Sabihin ko sa inyo, kung hindi natin kaya, we'll just have to call China to come in and blow them up. Just like Somalia, that Aden Strait there, were it not for the presence of the Chinese, hindi mahinto yung pirasi doon.
Meanwhile, President Duterte gives the Kuwaiti government an ultimatum. If no action is taken to prevent the abuses against overseas Filipino workers, the president is determined to order a recall and a ban on the deployment of overseas Filipino workers in the said country. Although the president says Kuwait has been helping the Philippines and it is truly an ally, he will not let our fellow Filipinos not only in Kuwait but also in the whole of Middle East to suffer abuse in any form.
Can I ask you now just to treat my countrymen as human beings with dignity? I do not want to fight with you. We need your help to improve our country.
Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasay City.
Next on Y News. The Philippine National Police Chief announces that casinos are now off limits to cops and government employees in line with the administration's anti-gambling campaign. Lawmakers discuss proposal to enlarge size of motorcycle plates in an effort to stop riding in tandem criminals. And the Department of Information and Communications Technology begins selection of third telco player. Y News will be right back. Casinos are now off limits to cops, according to Philippine National Police Chief Director General Ronald De La Rosa. Leah Ilagan will tell us why.
PNP Chief Police Director General Ronald Bato De La Rosa warns of filing charges against cops and government employees who would play in casinos. He also reiterates the implementation of a one-strike policy to policemen who would violate the regulation.
So kung sino yung mag-insist na maglaro sa casino na mga pulis, babay, i-dismiss ko kayo.
The PNP chief explains that the one-strike policy covers the cops who would finance players at casinos and those who are colluding with syndicates or kidnappers of winning gamblers. Cops caught inside casinos will face administrative and criminal charges.
So open disobedience, may kaso kang kriminal, at sa akin naman, sa pulis, administratively, kakasuhan kita ng grave misconduct that is dismissible from the service.
De La Rosa clarifies that the policy does not cover policemen eating at restaurants or buying products at boutiques inside casino hotels like Soler, Okada, or Resorts World. According to the PNP chief, government employees gambling in casinos will also face charges. Authorities also warn casino owners of facing penalties should they repeatedly allow government employees to enter their establishments. De La Rosa led the installation of signage warnings at the Soler Casino today. The signages state that cops, soldiers, and any government officials are prohibited from entering and gambling inside establishments. PAGCOR Chairperson Andrea Domingo says they are monitoring 20 government employees who were caught playing at casinos. Domingo says among them are several congressmen and mayors.
Minsan may nakikiusap, pwede ba kaming maglaro? Sabi namin, hindi pwede ho eh. Lalo na ngayon, aarestuhin na kayo ng pulis.
Government authorities will also put in place similar signages at other casino establishments. Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue, Camp Crame.
The Philippine National Police will implement a stricter selection and screening process in the recruitment of potential police personnel. Mai Bermudez will tell us why.
Aspiring policemen will go through a rigorous process of selection and hiring. The Philippine National Police wants to make sure that future members of the police force are carefully screened and selected to ensure that they are not tainted with any hint of corruption. In today's episode of Get It Straight with Daniel Razon, Police Director Leo Angelo Bong Leoterio of the Philippine National Police Internal Affairs Service says that they are in consultation with experts in human resources with regards to the process of recruitment of new policemen.
Sa ground level na yan doon mismo sa yung sa nitty-gritty. Kunyari meron kayong 1,000 na applicants. Tapos 500 ang pumasa. Pero 300 lang yung 300 lang yung may cut off. 300 lang yung i-recruit.
Yes.
So doon yung nakikita namin na hindi naman tayo bulag.
Leoterio adds that they are basing the recruitment of personnel on the agency's need.
From the standpoint ng human resource management.
Yes.
Ano ba yung kailangan ng organisasyon ngayon? Diba? Baka kailangan namin ngayon ng mga psychologists or kailangan namin ng mga engineers.
According to the records, the PNPES has dealt with more than 2,000 cases of erring police officers in 2017, 200 of which were recommended to be dismissed from service. Mai Bermudez, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
The House of Representatives begins to discuss the proposal to make the size of motorcycle license plates bigger. Grace Casin will tell us why.
Although CCTV cameras capture riding in tandem criminals, authorities still find it difficult to identify them since CCTV videos cannot capture clearly their license plates. With this in mind, the House Committee on Transportation and the Committee on Public Order and Safety begin the discussion on the proposed Motorcycle Crime Prevention Act of 2017. The bill proposes to double the size of current license plates for motorcycles. According to House Committee on Public Order and Safety Chairman Representative Romeo Acop, the bill also proposes to put license plates in front of motorcycles.
It will aid witnesses and/or law enforcers to read the plate numbers from a distance to properly identify motorcycle riders committing crimes.
Police Superintendent Edwin Engay, the legal officer of PNP Highway Patrol Group, believes the bill would help lower the number of crimes involving riding in tandem criminals.
There is a snowballing figure in crime incidences involving the use of motorcycles.
However, Jobert Bolanos of the Motorcycle Group Riders of the Philippines says huge license plates are dangerous for motorcycles as they can be swept away by strong winds and thus cause road accidents. He also argues it will not help in addressing crimes as criminals normally use fake license plates or stolen motorcycles.
In the commission of crimes, no criminal will use his own motorcycle, let alone any identifying marks that will lead to his identity.
The Senate has already approved the said proposal. Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue, House of Representatives.
The Eastern Mindanao Command of the Armed Forces of the Philippines will deploy another battalion of soldiers in its fight against the New People's Army. Aiko Miguel will tell us why.
Destroy the enemy of the state. This is the clear order of President Rodrigo Duterte to the Armed Forces of the Philippines or AFP and Philippine National Police or PNP during a command conference in Mawab, Compostela Valley last Monday. The President announced he wants to eradicate all the terrorists in the country.
Binanggit niya talaga yun in unequivocal terms, no, to destroy the enemies of the state. For the part of the PNP, of course, it's the defeat or destruction of the drug syndicates primarily, with us as doing the supporting role. But for the destruction of the CPP, NPA, that is our primary task.
With this, the Eastern Mindanao Command of the AFP will deploy another battalion of soldiers to help in defeating the members of the Communist Party of the Philippines and New People's Army or the CPP-NPA. 3 battalions of soldiers have already been deployed at the 1003rd Infantry Brigade. The military says the chief executive also vows to provide funds for the rebels who would surrender to the government.
Sabi niya, let us offer something to them, meaning the active rebels, something that is more than what the communists are offering. And he made mention about lupa, bahay, trabaho. So, and he will find funds for this program that we would be proposing.
Among the counterinsurgency measures the government wants to implement is the improvement of the reward system of the AFP and its program for the indigenous people or LUMADs in the region. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
A Spanish national of Tunisian descent was presented for inquest before the Department of Justice today. Roderick Mendoza will tell us why.
A 20-year-old Spanish national arrested in Basilan was charged for illegal possession of explosives before the Department of Justice today. According to Captain Ezequiel Panti of Army Special Forces stationed in Maluso, Basilan, the suspect Abdel Hakim Ladibi Adib was arrested in their checkpoint around 11 in the evening last Monday. The target of the operation was a Filipino member of the Abu Sayyaf group, and it just happened that Ladibi Adib was with him. But the target escaped and the Spanish was left behind. A hand grenade, a rifle grenade, cell phone and blasting caps were recovered from his bag, along with his passport, IDs and over 8,000 peso cash. It was also found out that his visa has already expired. The Spanish admitted the passport, IDs and cash belonged to him but denied owning the grenades.
Más tarde se van a revelar las pruebas de que soy inocente.
Ladibi Adib says this is his first time in the country. He was supposedly going back to Zamboanga and headed back to Spain when he was arrested, but he refused to answer when asked what was his business in Maluso, Basilan.
Es otra historia. No fue mi intención en llegar en ese sitio.
He is now facing illegal possession of explosives, a non-bailable offense. The DOJ prosecutor has given him a week to submit his defense.
At the time he was arrested, there's no terrorism except illegal possession. At wala naman silang charge na terrorism.
The DOJ has 15 days to decide whether or not there is enough evidence to indict the suspected foreign terrorist. Roderick Mendoza, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
The Senate starts its investigation on the alleged anomaly inside the Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office or PCSO. Nel Maribohok will tell us why.
Some of the officials of the Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office or PCSO are in collision over the issue on the anomaly within the agency. These include the apparent neglect of duties of several officials on the prevalence of illegal small-town lottery or STL operations, which seem to be just front for wetting operations. Camarines Sur Representative Luis Raymond Villafuerte testified during the hearing that there are STL operations happening in his district.
Ito po, Mr. Chair, ang ginagamit nilang pataya, malino naman po na hindi prescribed for. Wetting po to, wetting po. Legal po.
Businessman Atong Ang supports the existence of illegal gambling.
Hindi kayo makakapag-operate ng wetting kung hindi alam ng local government, PNP, krame.
Meanwhile, PCSO board member Sandra Cam accused a former chairman Jose George Corpus and general manager Alexander Balutan of being involved in corruptions in the agency.
Look at these pictures. Ito, wetting na wetting ito. Ito sa Pangasinan. Pinayper ko ito sa kanya at huwag kang magsinungaling ulit dahil nandito pa rin. May ginawa ka ba?
But for GM Balutan, illegal wetting is too hard to curb.
Are you saying na kung hindi natin ililegalize, hindi pwede mahinto yung illegal numbers game? Is that your conclusion?
Maaari siguro, sir, at nahirapan po lahat yung law enforcement natin dito to curb the illegal gambling.
Also during the hearing, the issue on lavish holiday party of the agency resurfaced, wherein the agency spent 6 million pesos. Balutan defended that 2.2 million pesos was allotted for food and rent for a 5-star hotel, and others are allocated for raffle of cash prizes. Balutan insists this was approved by the Budget Department. But for Senate Committee on Games and Amusement Chairman Panfilo Lacson, PCSO needs to clarify the issue.
May mga procurement violations, kaya dapat yung magsubmit agad sila ng documentary requirements sa COA para makapag-decide ng COA kung mayroong disallowance.
The Senate conducted a hearing to draft a proposal to amend the charter of the PCSO to control illegal gambling and to curb corruption in the agency. Nel Maribuho, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
President Rodrigo Duterte denies having a hand on the allegations of Janet Lim Napoles against Senator Franklin Drilon, alleging the lawmaker of receiving campaign funds from her. Meanwhile, the president warns those who are using the hangar in Ninoy Aquino International Airport. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
President Rodrigo Duterte dares Senator Franklin Drilon to expose a person who can prove accusations that the president implicated the senator in the pork barrel scam. This after PDAF scam queen Janet Lim Napoles revealed that the senator received donation from her for the lawmaker's campaign funds worth 5 million pesos in the 2010 elections. The president adds he is willing to resign if this will be proven.
Senator Drilon, if I talk to somebody urging a case against you sa PDAP, bring that person in my presence and I will resign because you are my friend.
The Liberal Party claims the Duterte administration is trying to divert the attention of the public away from issues such as inflation and the favor given by the government to China in West Philippine Sea, the reason why the government wants Drilon to be investigated on PDAF scam.
If you look at the timing, pagkatapos po to hinain ng minorya yung investigation dun sa Navy frigate issue ho natin, suddenly mayroong convict na magsasalita laban sa member ng oposisyon.
Meanwhile, the president once again warned those who are using the hangar in the Ninoy Aquino International Airport but are not paying due charges.
Kayong mga mayaman, you better be prepared. Sabihin ng mga manager dito, even a clerk of the airport would say that it's about time that we use that goddamn space there. Bubuldosin ko kayong lahat. Wala nang pakialam.
Last year, the Philippine Airlines paid around 6 billion pesos as backlog fee after President Duterte warned of shutting down NAIA Terminal 2 if the company would not pay its obligation to the government. Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasay City.
Meanwhile, the Department of Information and Communications Technology begins today the selection of the next telecommunication firm it would allow to operate in the Philippines. But local telecommunication giants call on the government to slow down the process. Here's why from Mon Hokson.
They are pressed for time. This is the complaint of the telephone companies that attended the invitation of the Department of Information and Communications Technology, or DICT, for the selection of a new telecommunication player in the country.
There are certain requirements of the law. We cannot just simply short-circuit or shortcut the process.
The telco firms also questioned the amount of frequency or signal the government would allocate to the third player, noting it is already almost used up by the two telecommunication giants currently operating in the country. However, the ICT officer in charge under Secretary Eliseo Rio Jr. says they have to follow the order of President Rodrigo Duterte to have a third telco player before the second quarter of the year. The DICT plans to allocate 300 megahertz of frequency to the third player, saying it's sufficient to provide proper service to the public. There will also be an infrastructure sharing, where the chosen telco firm can use the facilities of local telecommunication giants Globe and PLDT. The DICT also plans to allocate 5G signal to the third player that Globe and PLDT have yet to use.
It will be available, no? But of course, there are some conditions na nasa NTC rin.
Representatives of local telecommunication firms also attended the dialogue. They will be the ones in charge of searching for a foreign partner that would invest in the new telecommunications player. The Constitution states that companies investing in the Philippines should be at least 60% Filipino-owned, while foreigners are allowed to own only not more than 40% of the business. Interested telecommunication firms should have legitimate franchise that would be issued by the Congress. Companies with links to PLDT and Globe Telecom are not allowed to join the selection process. The government will choose the company with the highest committed investment for the first 5 years. Based on the estimates of the DICT, the chosen telco player will have to invest $5 billion for it to be able to operate in the country. A cabinet meeting will be held at Malacanang on the 5th of February. In the said meeting, the DICT will have the opportunity to determine if President Duterte will extend the deadline for the entry of a new telco player in the country. The chief executive initially set the deadline in March of this year. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Police nab a notorious taxicab robber in Caloocan City in a follow-up operation last night. Meanwhile, authorities arrested 2 illegal drug peddlers in Caloocan City and Batangas. Rajel Adora will tell us why.
Through a search warrant, the police raided the home of a drug pusher in Gomez Street, Barangay Bagong Barrio, Caloocan City. Authorities confiscated a caliber .25 pistol, 12 sachets of suspected shabu worth 60,000 pesos, a sachet of marijuana, and several drug paraphernalia in the house of the suspect identified as Kelvin Dilao.
Para po makaipon lang.
Para?
May pagagastos ng parating din ng birthday. Saan tumutulong din po sa gabot-abot po sa nanay ko.
Chief of the Caloocan PNP Senior Superintendent Jemar Modequillo says the suspect had been under surveillance for a long period.
Kalalaya lang niya ng yung kaso niya on frustrated murder. Pero may other cases pa rin daw to about shooting.
Dilao will also face charges like illegal possession of firearms and possession of illegal drugs. Meanwhile, the Lipa City PNP arrested in a buy-bust operation last night a certain Rene Marundan. Authorities seized from Marundan 10 grams of suspected shabu worth 20,000 pesos.
Itong si Rene Marundan ay dati na itong nakulong sa the same na kaso. Na actually ito nakalaya lang last December 12.
In a follow-up operation, Caloocan City Police arrested a certain Marvin Brilla after he robbed a taxi cab driver yesterday. The taxi cab driver was able to immediately report the incident to the police. The suspect stole the 3,000 peso earnings of the driver and his taxi cab keys. Brilla is a known notorious holdupper in Bagong Barrio. The suspect denied the accusations.
Tulong lang po lang kasi sa CCTV naman po talaga mapapatunayan yung kung ano po talaga yun.
And we are also appealing doon sa mga ibang nahuhold up na mag-surface baka sakaling makilala nila ito.
Brilla is currently detained at the Caloocan City Police Headquarters and is now facing charges of robbery holdup. Authorities are also searching for his accomplice identified as alias Chololing. Rajel Adora, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Wishers are in for a special treat by Wish 107.5. Leslie Langboyan tells us why.
Wish 107.5 remains the #1 FM YouTube channel in the country, hitting 2 million subscribers last night. Wish YouTube channel is one of the favorite go-to sites of music lovers because of its quality Wish-exclusive videos. At present, it also has over 800 million views.
We're very happy that we already reached another milestone for Wish, hitting the 2 million mark in our YouTube channel. Of course, we'd like to thank all our subscribers for their continuous support at ang patuloy nilang pagmamahal sa Wish 1075.
It was in March last year when Wish received the Gold Play Button Award from YouTube after hitting 1 million subscribers. In this new achievement, the station is preparing a special treat for their loyal subscribers.
Oh, we're going to celebrate this on February 3. Okay. We're going to grant 2 million peso worth of wishes ng ating mga subscribers, and in the late afternoon we'll have the mini concert of our invited guest artists who will perform para dun sa ating mga subscribers.
In 2 months starting February, the FM station will fulfill wishes of wishers from different parts of the country. Wishers can expect to continue receiving quality service from Wish 1075.
Patuloy po nating bibigyan sila ng quality at napakagandang Wishclusive, and pipilitin po nating maimbita ang lahat ng mga artist na wini-wish ng ating mga subscribers. At ang wish po ay patuloy sa aming commitment na makapagbigay sa kanila ng coolest musical experience at makapag-grant ng mga wishes ng ating subscribers.
Leslie Longboan, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Those are the reasons behind the news, January 24, 2018. I am William Theo.
Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I'm Angelo Castro III.
And I'm Darlene Basingan. Because we need to know, we will always ask why.
Thank you for watching.
Why News?